Have you ever questioned what attribute group is the best around? Is it better to have a player in better technicals, better mentals, or even better physicals? Well, today, hopefully, I can help you answer that question. Yes, as you can see on the screen here, I have created a database where every single attribute group has its own team. And in fact, if we sort it by this, they actually have 6 teams for every attribute group. We have 6 teams of mental, physical, and technical. They have taken over the Bundesliga because it's 18 teams, there's 3 attribute groups, 18 divided by 3 is 6. I'm good at maths, and this is a very good experiment. But if we take a look at one of these teams, let's take this one, a technical team. I've gone through and I've changed every single player to be a technical only player. So if we take a look, every single technical attribute in every single one of these players is a 20. The rest, mental and physicals, are all 10s. And he can play in any single position, meaning that the manager can select any player in any position, and that is exactly the same for every single one of these players. If I select them, every single one is a technical player who can play anywhere on the pitch. And just in case you're curious or you don't believe me for some bizarre reason, physicals are exactly the same. 20 in the physicals, mentals and technicals are 10s, and every single player can play in every single position with 20 physicals, 10 for mentals and technicals. You want me to show you the mental ones as well, don't you, just in case? Mental attributes here, 20 out of 20, 10s on the physicals, 10s on the technicals. Goalkeepers are slightly different though. I've made every goalkeeper a very bang average goalkeeper. He has 10s for every other attribute other than handling, reflexes, positioning and agility, which is set to 15 in all of them. And that is the same for the technicals, physicals and mental goalkeepers, all of them exactly the same, identical players. Now, the last thing that I have actually changed, I've gone through every single manager and I have set them to 200 out of 200 current ability, and I have set their preferred formation to a 4-4-2 on a gegenpress style, meaning that every single one of these managers should really be playing a very similar role in their team, playing a gegenpress 4-4-2 with 200 current ability. So it's a very even playing field. I'm going to simulate a whole season and we're going to see what is the best out of technicals, physicals, and mental attributes. But before we have a look, I want you to take a guess down in the comments section. What would you prefer using? A player with 20 physicals, 20 mentals, or 20 technicals? It's obviously down to preference, but what is your preference? I want to know down in the comments section, please. And here we are at the end of the season, 7th of June 2021. We have simulated one full season, and this is the results. It looks like physicals have dominated here. They finish up champions in 2nd place, 4th place, all the way down until 7th place. The only team that kind of got in there is the technical team of Borussia Dortmund there with 67 points. So they're actually joint 2nd in the league. However, if you look a little bit further down, we have mentals. The top mental team there is 8th place, 9th place. Technicals down again, all the way down until 15th. And then the bottom 3 teams is mentals. And they have finished, if you take a look, to be honest, out of the bottom of the technicals there is 31 compared to the last mentals. It is only 30 points. So it's only a point between it. So mentals and technicals, very similar by the looks of it. What is rather interesting is even though physical teams here are 6 out of the top 7 teams in the league compared to the other 2, yes, they have been scoring the most goals. It's not an amazing amount of goals here, and that's probably because obviously every player can play in loads of different positions, so they tend to maybe be rotated or used in different positions. But it is physicals dominating the goals, and if we take a look at this, it goes all the way down until, well, there's one there in joint 3rd, but it carry on, there's one mental down there in joint 9th. It's pretty much just dominated by physical players. If we take a look at the average rating, however, it's a very different story. Average rating is dominated by technical players. There is a mental player there in 3rd place, but a lot of these players are technical players, and it's not until you go all the way down before you find a physical player. They're not even in the top 20. No physical players are getting an average rating of above 7.25, yet they are winning the league. This is quite strange. On the assists, however, it goes back in favour to physical players. Mental is there in 5th place, but I mean, technical's down there in joint 5th, but the top 4 is physical players getting the most assists. And again, that could be because of rotation purposes, because the mental players and the technical players don't have enough physicals to play every single game. They get tired, they get brought off. These guys are probably playing more games, and meaning that they are able to be on the pitch, to be scoring more goals and getting more assists. Player of the match is a similar story. Physical players are winning the most player of the matches. Mentals are there. Technicals are still there as well, so it's not too bad to be snuffed at. But yellow cards I found really interesting, and that mental players are just getting all of the yellow cards. Like, there are so many yellow cards, 14 yellow cards of this one player, and there's no other technical or physical players in the top 20 for yellow cards. That's, I think, the most surprising thing, because mental attributes, you would suggest they wouldn't pick up yellow cards. They would be more intelligent enough to be picking up silly fouls, or maybe it's the other way around, that they're so intelligent they're making professional fouls because the physical attributes are getting running past them, so they're having to bring them down, or the technical attributes are running past them because they're just dribbling around them. What's your opinions on that? But I've actually simulated this save 5 times, so I will load up another one here. We're not going to go through all of them, don't worry. I've created a gorgeous spreadsheet for us to look at. If we take a look at this one here, it's a very similar story. Physicals are there, technical down in 5th place, but it's, again, the statistics look very similar to the previous one, and it kind of tells a story. So here is my spreadsheet, and if we take a look across the 5 seasons, across the 5 simulations that I have done, let's look at the teams first. Now, in the top 4, so finishing in the top 4, technical teams managed to finish in the top 4 twice, and that is out of 4 times 5, so 20 positions there up for grabs. Only 2 times technicals finished there. Mental attributes 0 times finished in the top 4. It was dominated by physicals, who won the league every single season as well. No other attribute group managed to win the league. But relegated is exactly the opposite. Now, in the Bundesliga, the rules are that 2 teams definitely go down and 1 plays in the playoffs. So there is a kind of a variable, actually. And I thought that was actually quite a fun thing to leave in, to be honest, to see what actually happened. Technical teams got relegated just the once. Physicals, by the way, were nowhere near. I think the lowest that they finished was like 11th. And then mental attributes were relegated 10 times. Trophies is a very similar story as well. In the one simulation we did, technicals won the DFB Pokal. They never won a league, they never won anything else, but physicals managed to win 12 trophies. That includes the league title, that includes the DFB Pokal, and that even includes the Europa League. They've won 2 Europa Leagues out of the 5. No Champions Leagues though, and I think that's mainly because of the qualification purposes. But hey, if they were in the Champions League, we would see possibly another trophy go into the physical department. Over to the players then, and this is based on just the player statistics that we see at the start on the profile. So those top 3. So if you've made it in the top 3, you count to one of these. Now, in the league goals, in the top 3 of the league goals, only 1 player was technicals, only 1 player was mentals, meaning that the remainder 13 positions out of the 15 was given to the physical departments. They're just scoring the most amount of goals. I basically think that might be because they're playing more games than other players, or they're just running past players just so fast that you can't stop them. Average rating, however, was a completely different story. We've seen what it looked like in the one simulation we did take a brief look at. Technical attributes was 14 out of the 15 players were from the technical attributes in average rating. The highest average rating, none were from physicals. Even though they're winning the league, even though they're scoring the most goals, and even though they're getting the most assists. Because if we do take a look at the assists, it's dominated by physicals. Physicals won 15 out of 15 positions in the top 3 assists of the league every single season in the 5 simulations that we did. Technicals and mentals, nowhere near. Player of the matches was a little bit more spread out, however. Player of the matches, 5 of these players were from the technical teams and 10 were from the physical department. Again, mentals were 0, but mentals do come into play when you look at the final one, and that is really the disciplinary one, the yellow cards. 15 out of 15 players were from the mental attribute category. Now, obviously, you can take from this what you will. What is your opinions? I want to know down in the description why you think the answers that we had happened did actually happen, whether it's because they're playing more, whether it's because they're just faster running past players. In my personal opinion, I always look for physical attributes more now because of this simulation that I have done. I've had this saved for a long time now, and you might have heard in my streams recently on twitch.tv/MegaLukeGaming that I'm always looking for physical players over technicals and mentals, and now it's got to the point where I'm now favoring the physicals over anything else on each player. I want to know your opinions down in the comments. If there's any other types of simulation that you want to see on attributes or anything like that, any experiments that I can do for you, let me know down in the comments as well. Thank you very much. Drop a like on the video if you can, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye bye.